Good evening. Now you're adrift in a sea of lies, a foolish villain in an endless chapter. The demons riding behind your eyes, a simple shadow we can fight together. I'll never walk away. Let's kill something.
Country Media Award and welcome to my review for Prisoners. I was recently watching the movie today at the cinemas and I gotta say I was very impressed by it. This is a really well done suspense thriller. I was really surprised how good this movie was going to be. Acting was top for the roof. Nice to see Hugh Jackman in a different role apart from the Wolverine, of course. So yeah, I was pretty impressed. So let's talk about Prisoners.
Why did you break up the sun?
The story for this movie follows two fathers that both lose their daughters and take matters into their own hands after a suspect has been accused of taking them. While at the same time the police are pursuing different matters, different things are not quite what they seem, and it's a bit of a kind of suspense thriller at the same time, trying to find out what has happened to these kids. It's basically a drama in a sense with a thriller aspect. You know, it's how far would the fathers willing to go, how far is Hugh Jackman's character prepared to do to find her daughter and just protect their family in a sense. You know, it's a very interesting story and I quite like this side of realism into it. Even though some of the things happen you could say are a bit out there, but not really in all fairness. I mean, if you're a father and you lost your daughter, been taken by someone and there is one suspect guaranteed, you know, to say, you know, this could be a person that's taking it. You know, you're going to take matters into your own hands one way or another. It's either revenge or finding information or whatever. And they definitely do. And I really like the realism of it. And there's just some really scenes that I just think is definitely so human in it, and in the pure nature of it. You know, just taking someone and just being broken by it and just losing faith in everything. And I love that. In the characters, you can really invest into it, and you can really see the moral compass breaking in some of the characters. Hugh Jackman, I have to say straight away, does a fantastic role, really believable performance as an actual father, as an actual working man, but you know, a guy that, you know, kind of is very safety control, preparing for the worst situation, and of course when this does happen to him, he is not prepared and he just doesn't know what to do. He does what he knows best, and there's points where he's just about to give up or just break, and I can really feel for the character because it's just, he wants his daughter so badly, and I really like that. I think really fantastic performance. It's nice to see him in a different role apart from the Wolverine, of course. I know he's a really good actor and I love to see him in different roles, and I think this movie definitely makes him shine even more. And there's definitely a couple of scenes you can tell where he's about to lose his shit and pull out some claws for sure. He definitely pulls out the punching bags a little bit in some of the scenes for sure, I guarantee it. But I think his performance was really fantastic, and I really like how he reacted to everybody and all the cast, and you know, and it's an interesting performance for him, and I think he did really well. You got Gyllenhaal, I think if I just said it correctly. He's the cop character that is signed onto the case to try and find the daughter. He's a really fantastic actor also. I love anything that he's in. I really like his character also. He's not the typical kind of cop in a sense. He's got tattoos, you know, on him. He's got on his knuckles, so you can tell he's a bit of a background, he's a bit of history in a sense. I think he doesn't do everything 100% by the book. He is willing to get, you know, out there and willing to push himself or do things like that, but I think he's a cop which is driven, and he definitely takes it personally, and he wants to try and find his daughter and just, you know, try and solve what actually happened, and I really like that. He's willing to use force, he's willing to, you know, kind of play mind games. I was just really impressed by this movie. This is a really well done suspense thriller. It reminded me of Seven in some way with the cinematography style, with the lighting, and especially some of the rain sequences were fantastic. There's like sequences where there's a standing outside and the rain cops, lights, kind of thing like that, and got shadows on their faces, and it's like fantastic. And there's some really beautiful shots later on, especially within some of the car sequences, just looking over the lights in the dark kind of thing, and all the car lights and stuff like that. It's just fantastic, really well done. I like the fact that every single scene was used and linked back with each other. You know, not a single thing was you can't dismiss or disregard kind of thing. They link everything back, so when they show you something, you just keep in your mind, log it in, and it will refer back to it later on. I really liked that because there was a couple of things I was picking up on. I was thinking, what will they show this scene for? What's this got to do with anything? And I knew they were going to link it back later on. You kind of think to yourself, what's actually going to happen to these characters? You know, are they actually going to find their daughter? You generally don't know until the last frame of the actual movie what's going to happen. And when it does happen, I think it was very appropriate, and I really liked the last sequence at the end of the movie. I felt it was a good ending to the movie, and of course it leads into interpretation. It's pretty obvious what does happen, I think, perfectly honest, but if you need to be spoon-fed, then yeah, it's pretty obvious. There's nothing more I can say about this movie. This is a really well done thriller, great casting, great acting, really interesting movie from start to finish. Very realistic. It's a very realistic take upon a daughter going missing, in a sense, unlike kind of death sentence or Taken, for instance. They're not kind of like super spies or anything along those lines, or Invincible or gun battles going off. It's a very just ordinary father wanting his daughter back, and he's doing what he thinks he can to try and get her, and I really appreciate that, and I can really relate to it in some situations. So great performance, really well created storytelling, great direction work, great cinematography. Great movie. Go and check it out at the cinema. You would not be disappointed. That's been my review for Prisons. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. What do you think of the movie? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Comment down below. So in the meantime, I'm Hugh from Gym TV. So yeah.